As we've been telling you this week, Pat is retiring after 43 years on the job at our two stations.
No one has worked with Pat longer than Don Carrigan. He joins us at 4 now to share a few thoughts about he chuckled about that.
No apology.
No. You are not just co-workers, but very close friends.
We are close friends. We began as co-workers. I told Pat this morning, I was here on with the company on his first day when he started, and I'm here when he's leaving.
You win at last.
I do. I finally won the lottery on that. But Pat and I have been great friends for 43 years. It's hard to believe, and Pat's been great friends with all of Maine. And you know, besides his great anchorman skills, his being super smart, his great news judgment, his high ethics, and everything else that you folks know about, Pat's probably best known around Maine for covering Maine politics, and he's been really good at it.
Anyone trying to follow the action at City Hall Wednesday evening might have found a copy of Robert's Rules of Order.
Pat Callaghan cut his political teeth reporting on the Bangor City Council back in the days of Buddy Gass, John Baldacci, and other colorful local leaders. All politics is local, they say, and this was super local. But he had grown up in Massachusetts, where politics is a big deal, then went to school in New Hampshire, where future presidents get grilled.
Brennan told reporters he's not sure what the state can do about the Canadian workers.
Well, much of it, again, is controlled by the federal law.
In Maine, Pat covered Governor Joe Brennan and Governor Jock McKernan.
I think that it demonstrates how close this race is.
And then put them both on the spot when they ran against each other in 1990.
What are you anticipating here in Maine, sir?
Well, I haven't talked to our people yet, but what I would like to do is win.
And before that, he was also covering Vice President and then President George Herbert Walker Bush, including tracking down where the former president really lived. Was it Maine or Texas?
Newsheader's Pat Callaghan joins us live now from Madison Square Garden again tonight. Hi, Pat.
Hi, Cindy. That sound you may hear behind me is the sound of happy Republicans from Maine and across the nation.
He followed Mainers to the national political conventions all over the country.
Newscenter's political reporter Pat Callaghan joins us live now from Washington, D.C. with the latest on the majority leader race. Pat Mitchell's been talking pretty confidently. How does he handicap the race at this point?
Well, he thinks he has more votes lined up than either of his two opponents have.
And when Senator George Mitchell became Senate Majority Leader, Pat went to Washington to see him. Years later, Pat joined Mitchell in Northern Ireland.
60% of the people consider themselves British, and 40% of the people consider themselves Irish, and that's the nub of the problem.
As Mitchell negotiated a historic peace accord between North and South.
Newscenter's Pat Callaghan has also made his way to the Granite State, and he joins us tonight from Manchester as we begin our primary coverage.
For every New Hampshire primary for 30 years, Pat has been there, showing Mainers the people who want to be president. In New Hampshire and in Maine, asking those who would be our leaders the right questions.
One of the biggest employers in Maine is Bath Iron Works. Some people say the U.S. Navy is too small. Some say it's too big and we shouldn't spend so much on ships. What do you say?
Well, I want to look, we have to rebuild our military.
Good evening from the Holiday Inn by the Bay in downtown Portland. I'm Pat Callaghan.
And of course, for close to 40 years, every Maine politician who wants to be governor has had to face off with Pat Callaghan.
Can Maine sustain the size of the state budget as it is now without the continuing major influx of federal dollars?
Thanks. Well, the federal dollars that we receive, we were so fortunate to receive.
For all of these years, he has been the journalist candidates respect and Mainers trust, to know the issues, ask the questions, to be fair, be straightforward, and demand straight answers.
Good evening. I'm Pat Callaghan.
Just like his work on the anchor desk every night, Pat has been trusted by Maine people to get it right. He is, quite simply, the best.
And that's News Center Maine at 6. Thanks for being with us.
And we're not closing the 6 o'clock yet. You still got some work to do.
Yeah, a little bit.
But along those lines, Pat is a great collector of music and political memorabilia, among other things. And I thought that it would be very appropriate to get a rare piece of political memorabilia for you.
Okay.
I'm sorry it's not signed by a rock band, but we have here a photo, a rare photo of Maine's entire congressional delegation.
That's great.
Posing in the U.S. Capitol for Pat.
That's nice. I don't know if you can get a shot of it or not. But
And they've all signed it.
Yes, they all
great.
signed it
That's
with their greetings. So you rarely see them together, but they all were happy to come together to celebrate you.
That's really nice. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Don.
Aw, love this moment. We're
Guys,
so
thanks so
honored to
much.
be a part
I
of
know,
it.
to-
Yeah,
to
thank
sit
you
next
guys
to
for
both
joining
legends.
us.
Anytime. You know, I'm going to have time on my hands.
You'll be
Just give me
free
a
at
call.
4 o'clock.
Yeah.
Come on
Come
over.
on back.